And le voila, we have dandelion, lamb's quarters, fireweed, and garden vegetable salad.
Something you can see at any restaurant, and probably about half of it just picked from our own backyard. Something anyone could get their hands on. Is that right?
That's right.
Adam Sos here with Rebel News and with supply chain issues out there. People increasingly concerned about where they're going to get healthy, even organic food. Many people have turned an eye to foraging, seeing how they can be independent, live a little bit off the grid. So I'm now joined by an expert in the field of foraging, Julie Walker of Full Circle Adventures. Lots of people sort of have expressed and approached me with an interest on this subject. But within Alberta, in our very own backyard, is it possible to sort of forage and be sustainable?
Yeah, absolutely. We have edible weeds in our backyards that are introduced species, so you can forage them and they're never going to go away. Like eat your weeds is a great way to go. And you may have some shrubs and other plants here that you're not aware of as an edible plant. So, in fact, right over here, we can show one in this beautiful yard at Hartel Homestead. Follow me?
Let's go over and check this out. So what exactly do we have here and what can it be used for?
Okay, so this is Alberta's native wild cherry called a choke cherry. And when these berries come out, choke cherries make fantastic jams, cough syrup, cold medicine. So choke cherry is one of the best cough syrups you can make. So a natural medicine growing right in their yard.
Well, that's incredible. And are these pretty much readily available right across Alberta?
They're a prairie plant typically, so they grow from Alberta. The farthest west would be like Yamnuska and the eastern slopes, because then the elevation and different things. But from here east to Saskatchewan, yeah, you can get choke cherry anywhere
Awesome.
in the prairies and the foothills.
That's incredible. What else can we find here in this beautiful homestead?
Okay, let's do a little walk. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to start right underfoot here. We're going to just start right underfoot. So in this yard, here's some little baby dandelions. And these young leaves that are nice and small are very, very edible. So dandelion is a bitter, and a bitter actually aids our digestion, and they actually clean out our kidneys. So eating your dandelion leaves in the spring, you add them to salad, mix them with tomatoes and celery and cucumber and all that good stuff, and maybe some lemon and vinegar. These are a wonderful green that's very sustainable. You can also eat all parts of the dandelion. We'll go over and have a look at another part over here.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
So at the right time of year, dandelion flowers are very, very edible. Now, if you have dogs in your yard, of course, you got to worry about pee and different things like that. But as long as you don't use pesticide, and if you have spots where there's no dogs, if I didn't know, if the dogs weren't here, I would just pop this right in my mouth. In fact, I added quite a few dandelions to a salad on the weekend, and we could, it's a wonderful salad green. You can put it on pancakes. I've been dipping mine in egg batter and cooking it up in the frying pan. Call them dandelion fritters. The latex in the stem of the dandelion, if you have a wart, you can apply it to your wart twice a day for 3 weeks, and you can get rid of your wart. So dandelions have all kinds of edible and medicinal properties that are really, really fantastic. And now later in the fall, if I dig up my dandelions and harvest the root, not only can I just cook that like a regular vegetable, but my favorite is I clean that up, I peel it, and then I chop it really small, put it in the toaster oven and roast it, and then I grind it and roast it again, and I've got dandelion coffee. Now, the beautiful thing about dandelion coffee, not only is it great, but it cleans your liver. And your liver is the organ in your body that detoxifies your body from pesticides and pollution. So you're giving yourself a nice cleanse, like giving your car an oil change. So dandelion is one of the best plants we can be utilizing. In fact, if we all ate dandelions in the spring and fall, we'd reduce so many problems with our bodies. So it's a great plant.
And I don't have to ask you if these are readily available everywhere. We sure know they are. What's next? What else can we find?
So this is a common plant that most people, I am at war with this plant in my garden until I found out from Latifa Peltier Ahmed, a master herbalist and master botanist, that this plant is edible. So it's called creeping bellflower, and it can invade yards and gardens. The leaves are edible. When you dig up the roots, I didn't get all the root here, but the really thick white roots, I chopped those up and put them in a stir-fry breakfast yesterday after I weeded them out of the garden. And the flowers, it's a tall flowering stem with beautiful purple flowers, and they're delicious. So I'm kind of like, well, you do take over, but I'll leave some of you because I really like your flowers.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
So you don't always have to battle your weeds with pesticides. You can eat your weeds.
your weeds too. Take some advice from nature there, certainly. Now, is there anything else we have around here? I know, yeah, there's more. Wow, just in one backyard here, what else can we find? Let's go take a peek.
Well, this is one of my favorites. This is a wild plant, and it's called fireweed. And it's called that because it comes back after a fire, and it puts potassium and phosphorus back in the soil after a wildfire. This, for me, is nature's wild asparagus, and because it's pretty tall, I am going to do this. And so you want it when it's young like this. I eat the stems when it's quite young, like this tall, and that's when it's like nature's asparagus. When it gets a little taller than this, the stems are a little too tough. And when the flower buds come out, which these haven't yet, then the life force energy moves from the stem and the leaves into the flower. So but the flowers, you can make jelly out of the flowers. So right now it's still at the stage where we can have wild asparagus here. We eat the young leaves, and the bigger leaves down at the bottom of the stem, you can dry those, and that's a beautiful green tea. So we got the stalk, the leaves, and the flowers, all edible parts of wildfire weed.
I'm looking right here. There's these yellow flowers here. What are these for? Those look edible.
So this bush is actually introduced to Alberta as a windbreak. So it can get really tall, and it grows fast. And so it's called Caragana. It's in the pea family. Whoopsie. And it's from Russia, and it can take over a landscape. So all of these things can take over. But this beautiful yellow flower, you just take off the little green cap on the back and try to have a little hole through that. And you get a little bit of that honey.
Oh, wow.
So this is just kind of your kid's treat. Go collect and suck on the honey, kids, and they're occupied for a couple hours, and you get your sewing done or whatever. So wild Caragana, introduced species. You don't want it to take over your yard, but if it's already there, you can reduce its production or reproduction by enjoying the flowers.
Awesome, that's great.
Okay.
So is there more around here, or should we try putting some of this into practice and
let's
making
put
something?
into practice.
Okay, we're going to just go for a little walk, check over there, and take some stuff that you can find in your own backyard, maybe some stuff you can find out here if you visit the Hartel Homestead, and and do some cooking, I think.
Yes, we are. Well, we're going to make a salad, so I'm going to take a couple of these.
All right, so we're going to go through some of the stuff that you can sort of find, whether from local farmers or in your own backyard, and how you can make a practical salad at home for yourself. So what are we working with here? Break us down some of these ingredients we're using.
So it's always good to mix your non-native or wild plants with your regular plants, because I always say never eat anything all by itself. Everything needs company, and that's because we want a nice flavor palette. So we're going to start with our basic lettuce that we're all familiar with. That'll give it some crunch and give it some volume and make a nice bed for everything to sit on. So I'm just going to do a bit of lettuce because I don't know how much and how many of us are going to be eating here. Plus, I don't want it to blow away. And
If you can't tell, it's a little bit windy here today.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as long as the trees don't blow down, yeah, that's good. Okay, and then I brought from my garden another common weed. A lot of people know it's called lamb's quarters. And lamb's quarters is like spinach, and it's tastier than spinach. It's crunchier than spinach. It cooks well like spinach. You can eat it raw like spinach. So I'm just going to crunch up a bunch of yummy lamb's quarters into this salad. Okay, that's good. Put a little bit more here. And the great thing about lamb's quarters and a lot of these non-native plants is that they keep coming back. So, it's really sustainable because your dandelions, your lamb's quarters, your creeping bellflower, they keep coming back. So it's a great harvest. So now I've got some of the fireweed that we saw at the front of the house there. And so we're going to take the young leaves from the top. We're going to put those in. And some of the bigger leaves I'm going to take out because that's going to be for tea. Take some of those top leaves only. There we go. Same with this one. The younger the leaves, the more tender they are with the wild plants like these. And, a lot of this wild food that's out in the foothills here, the First Nations knew that it was edible because the bears eat it. So 80% of what bears eat, humans can eat. Could be 100%, but we're not usually very favorite of, ant larvae and that kind of stuff. So they are partial insectivores. We are not. There we go. We got the best of that. Fireweed. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of local cucumber. Take the tips off. I was cleaning all my knives so I don't have them handy. Actually, I'm just going to do this. Just break down some of the cucumber. Oh, maybe I'll cut it. Go. Now I'm going to add something that most people would never ever think of. In this bag I have dandelion buds, so the flower buds of dandelions. Now I've used these to make pesto, I've used these in salads, I've used these, so we're just going to sprinkle some of these dandelion flower buds all washed at home into the salad. And le voila, we have dandelion, lamb's quarters, fireweed, and garden vegetable salad.
Something you can see at any restaurant, and probably about half of it just picked from our own backyard, something anyone could get their hands on. Is that right?
That's right. And some of the restaurants have started to grow some of these. They've done some foraging with Rouge in different restaurants, and some of them are actually including some of these plants in their menu now.
For those who don't know, that's a very nice restaurant. So if folks are interested in this, they're like, hey, you know what? I'd like to know what I can eat. Where can I go to find this stuff? If they maybe want to come out and learn about this with you, where can folks find you and learn more about this?
Thank you. Yeah, so www.fullcircleadventures.com. That's our website. We come and do what are the edible plants on your property. We do those walks. We can help you rewild your garden. And we're hoping to have an event, if it doesn't blow us away or flood us away, out here on Sunday, I should say, where we're combining Hartel Homestead and their meat products and Frosted Fern Bakery and baked goods and foraging. We're going down to a friend's ranch to do the foraging and bring it all here and cook it up. So we do, this year we've been able to do a lot of cooking events. So yeah, if you're interested, come on out to Full Circle Adventures. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. Happy to do it. And as always, for everyone at home, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sos. Hey guys, if you are sick of Ontario Liberals, federal politicians weighing in on what you eat and putting labels on everything, red taping everything, I want you to go to freethebeef.ca now. Sign our petition asking that the federal government stops labeling meat as dangerous. This beef is incredible, superfood, plain and simple. Go to freethebeef.ca.